This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Columbia Insurance Agency, serving the Lynn community for over 60 years with home, auto, and business insurance.
On this special edition of the LCTV News, we look at how the city of Lynn is handling COVID-19 as we spoke with small business owners, ward councilors, and Essex Media Group Community Relations Director. I'm Mukala Kabongo, and this edition of the LCTV News starts now. The Lynn Public Schools announced that all schools will be closed until April 7th. With COVID-19 forcing schools to close, schools will be providing grab-and-go lunch for those students in need of lunch. Grab-and-go lunches can be picked up at Lynn Tech, Lynn Classical, Lynn English, and Marshall Middle School. Students can pick up the lunch from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. With schools being shut down until April, schools handed out packets for students to not fall behind educationally. Obed Matul, general manager of Full Color Graphics, created packets for students in grades K through 8 to steer them away from their cell phones and laptops. We spoke to Obed about the packets. Welcome to another special edition of the Lin Lowdown, and with me on the phone is General Manager of Full Color Graphics, Mr. Obed Matul. Obed, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
All right, so how's everything going with you guys over there?
We're staying strong. We're staying safe, taking precautions. We're making sure that everything's clean here, sanitizing doorknobs, making sure that when customers come in, everything is clean. Business has been hit a little bit, but we're staying strong. We're trying to help the community by offering the school packets for the kids.
Yeah, before we get into the school packet, just tell me a little about that. You guys still have a free flow of customers coming in, and because this COVID-19 has took a hit to small businesses.
Yes, our business has been hit a little bit by what's going on too, but we're trying to stay open as long as possible. Workers are coming in. We only have 1 or 2 people in the store doing production, doing design, so that way we keep the number of people in the store to a minimum.
And you guys started this workbook for school age students. Tell me a little about that. Tell me what first got you guys to come up with this idea and then the execution of it.
Yes, it all started with, it was actually my wife's idea. We have nephews from 3 years all the way up to 10 years that are staying at home. And we had noticed that they have been on their phones, on their iPads, on their computer, playing online games, doing all that stuff. So we were thinking, how can we help them to not be on the computer watching Netflix all day, but do something more effective. And then we were informed that the schools were passing out some educational packets, some worksheets that they could do at home. Mm-hmm. So we decided to print some for them. And then my wife said maybe we can help the community by making these packets available for other students that don't have access to them. I know that a lot of the middle schools, the elementary schools ran out of these packets early, mm-hmm. and a lot of people couldn't get them. So, and many of them don't have a printer or a computer at their house. So that's how we came up with the idea. We decided to print packets from pre-K all the way to 8th grade and make them available for free to the public.
Mm-hmm. And in these packets, what are in it? What are some of the activities that are in these packets for the students?
I'm sorry, say that again?
What are some of the activities that are in these packets for the students, or some of their work?
It's everything from, there's a lot of spelling, a lot of reading, a lot of math, English, things like that. A lot of drawing for pre-kinder and kindergarten students. A lot of word puzzles.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly math.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite subjects too. So it works out.
yeah, and you guys you talk about your little nieces and nephews. How they've taken a liking to this?
I'm sorry.
You talked about your nieces and nephews about being on their iPhones, and then you guys do this. How have they taken a liking to these packets?
They really like it. Our nephews, we printed it for them, and yesterday they were all day long. They were doing it. One of them actually finished his packet early and asked me to print him another one, but I told him that that was the only one that was available for his grade. Mm-hmm. So he actually asked us to print instead of third grade, which he's a third grader. He asked us if we could print him a fourth grade packet so he could try. So I think it's really good. Some students are really into it, and even if it's something that they do 1 hour or 2 hours a day, it's really going to help them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely, because this is just a good way just for them, just get off the technology at some point, because they still school's not in, but they still have to learn, because they still have to to get that done. But so what are you guys doing for as this thing we find out more about this virus? What are you guys doing just to prepare yourselves going forward?
Going forward, we're going to be limiting our hours. We're going to be actually closing a couple days. Right now, rather than have the whole crew in the store, we're going to limit it maybe to 1 or 2 workers, just so that we can get the production going. We still have some orders for different companies that haven't closed yet, so we don't want to leave anyone hanging in the air. So we're going to be limiting our hours and our crew, just so that we can get the production still flowing. And we're also doing some work for the city to get the word out, so we have to make sure that all of that material gets done. The city's going to go out and put signs at parks, at different playgrounds that are going to be closing, so we still have to make sure that all that production gets done.
All right, definitely. Well, good luck with everything, man, moving forward, and stay healthy, stay safe, and this work that you've done is really great for the kids.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for you guys for covering this, too. And you guys stay safe, too.
All right, no problem. You have a great one, Obed.
All righty. Take care. Have a great day.
All right. That was Obed Matul, General Manager of Full Color Graphics. You guys been watching a special edition of the Lin Lowdown. Have a great day. With the spread of COVID-19 happening, many small businesses have been affected. We spoke with owner of John's Roast Beef, Tasso Nicolapokoulos, on how he has handled the pandemic. Welcome to another edition of the Lin Lowdown, and we have with us Tasso, owner of John's Roast Beef. And he's here to talk about the impact of COVID-19 to small businesses. Tasso, how you doing today?
I'm doing okay, like everybody else. This is kind of unprecedented, so we're just dealing with it. Take day by day and see how it goes, and just listen to our authorities and just keep informed. And I think everybody's doing a great job of doing that, and so is your show too. Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah. So since probably last Wednesday, we've been just getting new information. The mayor, the governor of Massachusetts, making declarations. So can you just tell me the impacts on the small businesses that COVID-19 has had the past couple of days, and moving forward, what you guys are bracing
well, I'm
for?
sure in general, a lot of places are not going to be recovering from this. If it's a week or two, I'm sure the majority of the business can survive. But when you're talking about service jobs and like, especially in the food business, you have a lot of part-timers that, if we're scaling back on hours. The volume's definitely not there. I mean, I personally was down 40% yesterday. That's not good numbers to hit, especially in the restaurant business. You want to maintain just even to break even, you need to be a lot higher than that. So what we're doing is just like scaling back on hours, also making sure our employees are safe.
Yep.
If they're coming to work voluntarily, their hours are not going to be taken away from them. If they don't feel comfortable coming in, they don't have to. Keeping I only have really like 2 or 3 full-time employees, and I'm keeping them there. Nothing has really changed for them. It's business as usual. Trying to offer more delivery. So what I've done personally in my business is just offer free delivery, waive that fee, make it easy for other people to like order out, and also keep my delivery drivers employed. First of all, it's the well-being of the employees. Make sure we are just stepping everything up. The cleanliness is just extra precaution. Yeah. It's not like we haven't done that already. We're kind of used to like being very careful, especially on food service. The city of Lynn's done an incredible job the past 5 years, especially by just bringing us to a new level. And I think we personally have a great reputation and never had any issues. But we just got to be extra cautious right now and make sure our delivery drivers are even wearing gloves and stuff like that. And we're trying to go paperless as well. So paying by over the phone, you can do it online, pay over the phone. So there's really no contact really. So, we're just trying to deal with it. Things change every 4 hours. So, we're just trying to adjust to what the president says and what our governor says and listen to what our mayor says. That
was one of the big adjustments for a lot of businesses was the delivery only, because at first it was, they said people could go in and make their orders. Now it's just only delivery. What kind of plan does that change wise for small businesses? What's like the structure that you guys would do? Would you have to adjust?
It's not even just adjusting. It's even more than that. People are not going to school. Teachers are not going to school. People are at home. They don't want to leave. Their families are home. So it's like people are not working. People are working from home. They're not going to really kind of order out if they're already home. If they're at their workplace, they'll tend to order out. We're the majority of what we noticed we lost is during lunch. It's really desolate. We have more pickups than we do deliveries, which is still weird. People are still coming in, picking up and leaving. We haven't had one sit-down person in the past 2 days. We're offering the best we can. It's just up to the people to feel comfortable coming out. We're trying to get the word out. I'm doing a lot of social media work and just trying to keep people informed that we're here. We have specials, family specials. I'm going to like a family special tonight for a family of 4. You can eat under $40, which is rare. But you have to try to meet people halfway too, trying to make it, because people are going to be out of work. And, combine that with the high rent as it is and people out of work, it's just like adding insult to injury. So I'm really kind of feeling for a lot of people. I feel like I'm grateful that I have a business. Even John's roast beef is not corona safe. as far as economically, if we continue like this for another 2-3 weeks, it could get worse. So we're ordered to shut down. There's chances that you might not recover from this or might not reopen. So we're all in it together, I guess, and now's the time just to listen to the advice of the experts and just try to do the best you can.
Yeah, definitely. And you guys, a lot of your workers, you guys put high school students as employees there too, and with them being out of school right now because of this, it sure is to impact them.
Yeah, the funny thing is, it was tough to get high school kids to come to work. Now all of a sudden, they want to work, but they're the first ones to take off. I'm trying to keep my essential employees, the ones especially they have the bills, they have families, and stuff like that. I'm trying to keep them status quo.
Yep.
And that's a high priority. I know some of the high school kids have their parents to rely on and stuff like that. But this is for a few of my employees. It's life or death for them. So I mean, I'm working hard for them. I'm working daily from opening to night, just to make sure I keep my budget in line and keep them employed. And and it keeps me out of the house. I don't want to be home right now. I mean, my family's home. They're going about their business, online schooling and stuff like that. So we're trying to have a little bit of normalcy. Yeah. But it is unprecedented for everybody.
Yeah. Tasso, thank you, sir, for this time that, for this quick time that you were able to just talk to us.
Anytime. Appreciate it. Keep up the good work, guys. And good luck out there.
All right. You too. Be safe.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. That was Tasso Nikolakopoulos, owner of John's Roast Beef, just giving us an update on the impact COVID-19 has on small businesses. All right. You guys been watching the Lin Lowdown. Have a good one. We spoke with Medical Director Linda Galligani about how Lynn Community Health Center will continue to provide care to Lynn residents as well as safety measures for COVID-19. Hello and welcome to another special edition of the Lin Lowdown. We have a special guest with us, Medical Director Linda Galligani. How are you, Linda?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I am great on this Friday. You've been busy. I know you've been busy the past week with everything that's been going on concerning COVID-19. Can you just tell us how your week's been the past couple of weeks, last week and this week?
Sure. As you can imagine, there's a lot of things that are changing, ever evolving. We started a couple of weeks ago really looking at how we were going to continue to provide care to the citizens of Lynn and our patients that have come to the health center for a long time, how we could provide care to them and keep our doors open. So we've been working, out workflows, how to screen patients, how to attend to their needs, while maintaining the guidelines that the CDC is putting out. Those change almost daily in terms of how we need to approach this COVID-19.
Yeah, and I could imagine it was tough because Lynn Community Health Center has so many patients coming in and out throughout the week. So having to restrict them from coming, I'm sure it was pretty tough.
Right. Right now we're not restricting them, but everybody who comes in for either an appointment or for a walk-in gets screened at the door. We ask questions to make sure that we know who's sick and who's not sick. And then we've designated workflows so those who are sick go to one area of the health center, and those who are not sick go to the other area of the health center to reduce exposure, but also to provide the care that they need.
Yeah, definitely. And I know you guys are currently working on just getting more information to the community about COVID-19 and how everyone should keep themselves safe and healthy. I know you guys have been sending the text messages, and just tell me about that.
Correct. As healthcare providers, we not only provide care when people are sick, but a big part of what we do is education, health education, keeping people healthy. So the biggest message that we're communicating is two things. Hand washing. Everybody needs to be really diligent about hand washing. We say this all the time, but in this time of COVID-19, it is crucial that everybody washes their hands. And there's been a lot of discussion about social distancing. And basically that means people need to stay away from each other. If you're sick, you need to stay home. If there's someone sick in your family, you should stay home. You shouldn't be out at the park. You shouldn't be making play dates for your kids. The fact that, restaurants and bars are closed down is helping with the social distancing, because that's really the only way we're going to keep a lid on the spread of this.
Mm-hmm. And I know right now they're working on, the government's working on something to help contain this. Do you know much about, how, besides the hand washing and just keeping your social distance, but as far as those that have it, do you know of anything that the government's doing just to help them?
So, if people have COVID-19, it can be clearly a wide range of symptoms. A lot of people have very mild illness, and they're just being instructed to stay home, manage fever, stay hydrated. those who have chronic medical conditions, especially like those who are immunocompromised or who have lung conditions, and they develop COVID-19, if they're having any severe symptoms, those are the people that we want to see. Those are the people that we want to call in so that we can talk to them to see how they're doing. But a lot of people can manage their symptoms at home, and that's what we're really encouraging. If you're sick with cough, fever, or sore throat, stay hydrated, manage your fever, and just, stay home and try to isolate yourself as much as possible.
Yeah, I know that during this quarantine time, where do we go next? I know we got this quarantine. A lot of people don't know, when everything's going to get back to normal. So, in your opinion, what do you think? Where do we go next from here?
I think, again, this is ever evolving. It's changing all the time. There are people that are looking at, new cases, where new cases are propping up, how many new cases are out there, in what areas. And I think things like school closings and restaurants and bars closing, again, that's the way to maintain the social distancing. And I think that's going to be on a day-to-day basis, on a week-to-week basis as to when we lift some of these restrictions. It's really unclear right now, but, I can imagine this is going to go on for several weeks. Yeah. And in terms of what gets lifted, all depends on what's really going on.
And in the North Shore and around the city of Lynn, I haven't heard much of many cases around the North Shore of the city of Lynn.
So I haven't heard of any positive cases. We've obviously screened people who we call PUI, who may be persons under investigation who may possibly have COVID-19, and they're being tested. The tests take a couple of days to come back, so that's why we want those people to quarantine themselves before we know what the case, if they're positive or negative. I think the numbers are changing every day. I don't have today's numbers. And again, we're in constant discussion and talks with the CDC so that we know actually what's going on in the Lynn community.
All right, Linda. Thank you for taking this time to speak with us about this. We really appreciate this.
You're welcome.
All right, you have a great day.
You too.
All right. That was Medical Director Linda Galgani. You guys have been watching the Lin Lowdown. I'm your host, Mukala Kabongo. Have a great one. This past Tuesday, a special meeting was held by the Lynn City Council to update on COVID-19 and its effect on the city. Here's more from the meeting.
Surrounding COVID-19 outbreak, commonly known as the coronavirus, is constantly changing and rapidly evolving. And if you're watching the news every day, it's hourly, it's changing by the hour. And so it's an ongoing effort. Yesterday, I declared a state of emergency within the city of Lynn. And today, the Lynn Board of Health has declared a public health emergency in order to protect the general health, safety, and well-being of the residents of the city of Lynn. Representatives from my office, members of the City Council, the Public Health Department, Office of Emergency Management, the School Department, the School Committee, and first responders are in constant communication and working with the Massachusetts Department of Public Health concerning COVID-19. I have also been had frequent contact and will continue that through phone calls and meetings with my fellow mayors, the administration, Governor Baker, and Lieutenant Governor Polito, as well as our state delegation, who's been constantly working closely with us, and the federal delegation to address all the issues that we face together. The city has been extensively preparing for scenarios that can play out with the evolving COVID-19 situation. We will continue to provide regular updates on the city website, and I urge you to follow this information, social media, and the Smart 911 emergency notification system, which hopefully you have all know about and, more importantly, have signed up for. Know that the tough decisions we are making are necessary steps to prevent the spread of COVID-19 here in Lynn.
As the mayor said, and I'll just echo, the governor has declared all schools in the state closed until April 6th. We've informed families to plan for child care through the month of April. We don't know when this is going to end, so we want families to be prepared and informed. We have established on the Lynn Public Schools website by school grade and content resources and activities for all students. A number of students have received paper packets as well. We want families to access and students to access these resources and activities daily, if possible. And with one thing I want to reiterate that the mayor said about lunches, English, classical, Lynn Tech, and Marshall Middle School, lunch is available from 11 to 1, Monday through Friday. That's actually for any Lynn resident under the age of 18. It is not just for Lynn Public Schools students. By federal guideline, we're following the summer meal guidelines, which means any student is available to leverage that resource. Yesterday we had 375 young people take advantage. Today we had 450. We're prepared to continue to offer that for the foreseeable future.
Ward 6 Councilor Fred Hogan joined us to give an update on the precautions the City Council is taking during the pandemic, as well as an update on Ward 6. All right, welcome to another special edition of the Lin Lowdown. And this time we have Ward 6 Councilor Mr. Fred Hogan with us. How you doing, Fred?
Doing very good. Thank you, Mukala.
All right. There's a lot of news about COVID-19 happening. The city has been taking all precautions. Just from the City Council's point of view, what have the City Council been doing these past couple of days just to keep the city aware?
Well, the great thing about Lynn is the team in Lynn is unbelievable, and they're working hard for the residents. You know, that's from the mayor's office, the mayor, members of the city council, the public health department, office of emergency management, first responders. They're all in constant communication and working with the Mass DPH, the Department of Public Health, concerning COVID-19, the coronavirus. Mm-hmm. And we're trying to update our website as quick as we get new information, and we're trying to put facts out there because through social media and through talking, people are not putting facts out there. And we're trying to just stop rumors and things like that there, and trying to just make sure we can put facts out there. And we're taking the lead of our Mayor Thomas McGee, who's doing an outstanding job.
As far as Ward 6, what's it been like in Ward 6? What have the folks in Ward 6 been doing? What have you guys been doing for precautions?
What I'm doing is I'm making sure I return every single one of my calls in a timely fashion. People have questions, and one thing with me is I make sure if I don't have the answer to the question, I call them back to get the answer for them, or I guide them in the right direction, either it's to the City of Lynn website, Lynn School's website, trying to get more people on the Smart 911 app, and I'm spreading it through social media. And like I said, we're just trying to get facts out there, because there's a lot of misinformation out there, and we just want people to be very prepared, because this is a difficult time for everyone. Everyone is not prepared for this here, and just trying to get the right information out there.
Mm-hmm. What have some of the calls that you've got? What are some of the concerns that the residents in your ward have?
Well, we get school calls. We get things like that. We get questions about what's going on at the parks. Obviously we have a thing. All playground structures are not to be used. And we just put up 2 brand new ones in Ward 6, one at Wall Street and one at Bennett Street. They're shiny, they're beautiful, and everyone's like, they want to get on them on the nice days, especially while the kids are home. So I'm catching myself right by those parks, just trying to explain to people, I know we understand we're getting signs put in the parks just so people would know and more information. It's just trying to spread the information, and that's what I'm doing. I have a lot of links to a lot of people in Ward 6, and I'm building my email. I'm building my email bank a lot more. So I'm going to start working on my newsletter, and I want to start getting that out there a little more. Just making sure we get the right information to people and helping them out.
And I know this past Tuesday, you guys had the the meeting, the people, it was close to the public, but what were some of the things discussed in that meeting, at the council meeting on Tuesday?
Yeah, the meeting was actually very, very informative. We had the superintendent of schools there. We had the emergency management team there. We had the public health department there. We had the mayor, the council president Darren there addressed the crowd also. And, obviously we saw in the audience, we weren't in our normal seats. We were practicing our social distancing and just trying to, if we can lead by examples, we're just hoping that other people can lead by examples. And, I'm trying to explain to people it's important to stay home as much as possible. I know it's hard being in your house. I'm trying to practice that even more. I actually work at the Lin Lowdown wastewater treatment plant, which is in Ward 6. We are essential employees. We have to make sure that we take care of this water when it comes in here and make sure it's clean going into the ocean. And we have guys that work here, and guys have to get to work, and they understand that there could be a situation where we might have to stay here longer than normal hours.
Yep.
So we're doing stuff like that too, because being an essential employee and being a city councilor, I have a responsibility to the people of Lynn.
Yeah, and so moving forward, what should we all expect? What are some of the things that we should expect moving forward as far as city updates and things that the city should look out for?
I actually, Mukala, I didn't hear that last part.
I said, what moving forward, what should everybody anticipate as the city keeps us updated with the reaction?
Like I said, this is a new time for all of us, and what they should do is just understand. Please follow the direction that the city officials are putting out, and follow the direction all the way to the White House, all the way to the governor's office. They're putting out information each day, and the main thing is you wash those hands, practice social distancing, and we can all get through this. And one thing I found out about Lynn in the last couple of weeks, people are coming together to try to help one another. Even if it's not direct contact, they're doing things, they're starting groups, they're starting things that we can get out and start helping people, because there's a lot of different things going on now, so.
All right. Thank you, Fred. Thank you for taking the time to call in.
No problem. I just want to say one more thing. LCTV, you guys have been amazing getting your information out there and making sure that stuff is accurate. And I just think you guys are a shining star in the city, and I thank you guys, everyone over here at LCTV, for a great job.
All right. Thank you, Fred. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon, and stay healthy and stay safe out there.
All right. Take care.
All right. You too. All right, you guys have been watching the Lin Lowdown. I'm Mukala Kabongo. Have a great one. Last week, the Lynn English Bulldogs captured their second straight Eastern Mass Championship, and amid the cancellation of the NBA season and March Madness, the Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association canceled the state championship game. We spoke with Lynn English head coach Antonio Anderson about their season and the canceling of the state tournament final. Welcome to another special edition of the Lin Lowdown. Right now we have head coach of the Lynn English men's basketball team, Antonio Anderson. Coach Anderson, how you doing?
Doing good, man. How about you?
Everything's good, man. It was so last week you guys went to the Garden, back-to-back Eastern Mass Championships. You guys played a hard-fought game. Tell me about that.
Oh man, it was awesome, man. I think we got into the tournament, and Costco gave us a run for our money that first game. The next two rounds we got going a little bit. Played a tremendously tough low team in the North Final, and then played Mansfield again at the Garden. And our guys were just so locked in, man, so focused on trying to win another state title that we played exceptionally well defensively, and beat a really good Mansfield team for the second time this year, which isn't easy to do. So it was just a great run, but I think winning two Eastern Mass titles back to back in Division I level is a tough task, and that group of guys were able to accomplish that. So it was a good feeling.
Yeah, you guys, for me, I think you guys were really a battle-tested team this year because it seemed like you guys had a variety of ways to beat teams. You guys could play any style with any team, and I think it showed throughout the tournament because, like you said, Classical gave you guys a tough matchup. Lawrence gave you guys a tough matchup, and they played you guys tough in the first half, and it seemed like anything a team threw at you, you guys were ready for it and had a counter for that.
Yeah, we're deep, man. We were able to get scoring from a lot of different guys, 6, 7 guys, sometimes 8. Can come in and put up points for us, and that was helpful. I think playing the tough non-research we played, and a lot of people know it's the last 2 games this year, and they won in Massachusetts. We lost. We traveled and played some tough teams and learned a little bit about ourselves. Those things kind of helped us prepare when we got back in our state and had some tough matchups.
Yeah, and for your guys, especially for your seniors, it seemed that each one in each matchup, one of the seniors stepped up. You had Jack step up against Lowell, scoring 9 points. Jarnell against Mansfield, he stepped up, and then your two big men, they were really key. They were really a problem for a lot of teams.
Oh man, those guys are battle tested, man. From Jarnell to Jack to Mason to JD, those 4 seniors, man. They catapulted us, man. I think the one thing for them is they were never satisfied in every practice. They competed, and the guys who didn't start also in practice pushed those guys to extreme limit. And I think we felt sometimes if our reserves were better than a lot of team starters, and I think that's the one thing that helps us as well.
Yeah, and you guys Tuesday, you guys win the game, and you guys getting ready for the state title game Saturday. You guys know you were playing Springfield Central, but then when you guys saw the news, the NBA is canceling their season. Then you see NCAA started to cancel certain tournaments, and then they announced that they're canceling March Madness. You got the feeling that you guys were next, that the high school level was next in canceling the state championship games?
Yeah. When I seen all that going down and the NBA being canceled and stuff, I knew our time was coming. I just still had a little bit of hope because of the simple fact that they played two games on Thursday of last week. Mm-hmm. 4 games on Thursday of last week. But at the end of the day, we want. I don't think anybody's happy with it, but we all understand the circumstances going on in our country, and we just got to deal with that. We're still being able to champion at the end of the day, and that's something to be proud of and something we accomplished.
Yeah. How did you guys take that they especially your seniors? How did they take it that they weren't going to get that chance? Tuesday was eventually their last game in the Lynn English jersey.
Yeah, I talked to the guys, and I think for the most part about it was they ended their season in the Garden. I think they were able to end it on a good note, and I think winning at the Garden is something a lot of people don't usually do. And
Mm-hmm.
I think for our guys, that's a huge accomplishment for them and something that they can look back on years from now.
Yeah, and lastly, just talk about the 3 years you've been here since you've taken over. The first year you guys make the tournament, you get out, and Lowell defeated you guys, and it came full circle. You guys defeat Lowell to go to the Garden. But talk about the 3 years. It seems the team just kept improving, and also talk about some of the guys that you were looking forward to coaching next year as you're losing a lot of your top players.
You got a Demity back. You got Aaron. You got Kanye. You got Lou. Oh man, we got a great group of kids coming back who all played significant minutes, who all played in big games, who all made shots in big games. They just didn't get the credit that the others got because the others, played a little more.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm excited for those guys next year, man. I think, we'll hit the ground running and we'll be fine tuned when time comes around because those guys got so much experience and I trust them all. So, I think that makes it a lot easier. when you're not starting over.
Yeah, definitely. All right, man. Thanks for taking the time to call in just to talk about everything. I know you guys wish you could have played in that state title game, but you guys accomplished a lot this season, only losing 2 games and, got like a 60-9 record in the past 3 years. So good things happening, and we're definitely looking forward to next season of Lynn English basketball. Thanks, Coach.
Oh, man, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right. That was Lynn English men's basketball coach Antonio Anderson. You guys been watching a special edition of the Lin Lowdown. Have a great one. Carolina Trujillo of Essex Media Group was our featured guest for the Lin Lowdown. Here's this week's Lowdown. Welcome to the Lin Lowdown. We got a special episode for you guys. We have Carolina Trujillo of the Essex Media Group joining us. Carolina, how are you?
I'm good. Well, we're in a pandemic, but trying to keep calm and trying to do whatever I can to support our efforts to keep everybody safe.
Yes, the safety and social distance is a key during this time. Which is why we're having this phone interview. Which the governor said to practice social distancing. Originally this was supposed to be an in-studio interview, but we're trying to practice social distancing, trying to make sure everybody just practices that so they could keep themselves safe and keep themselves healthy from this COVID-19 pandemic. So you've been doing a lot since everything has been breaking out as of last Wednesday. Can you just tell the people what you've been up to as far as keeping the people informed and also keeping the city notified of things that resources that's available to them?
Absolutely. So we have been collaborating through the Daily Item, itemlive.com, and also La Voz newspaper. We've been collaborating with the community to make sure that we have up-to-date information, getting it out there as quick as we can, making sure that it's relevant to the city of Lynn, because there's a lot of information that comes top-down that sometimes it's irrelevant. But just making sure that we as a community stay informed. In my case, I make sure that I translate quickly and post information through our Facebook, Noticias La Voz newspaper, to just keep the community updated. People who prefer to read in Spanish. These are times of a lot of fear. So I just want to make sure that we keep people informed. There's a lot of power in information and working with others so we can collaborate and be stronger together. So that's really where the focus has been for me as the publisher of La Voz and also as the community relations director for Essex Media Group.
Yeah, and also you also have a big responsibility because as everybody knows, Lynn, there's a large Spanish-speaking community in Lynn, and there's a lot of translations that needs to be had, and a lot of assistance for those who may not fully understand what's going on or grasp what's going on. So the need for translation is key, and you're playing a big part in that.
Yeah, so we've been working together. There was a coalition, and you have the name of the coalition handy, right? I just lost it here. But there's a coalition, the Lynn, Massachusetts Mutual Aid Disaster Relief, that was initiated by the leadership of Tia Cole. And she was the person who basically pulled a couple of us together. And then, of course, we kept getting bigger and bigger. And the reason of this coalition is really to work together to identify not only resources, but make sure that everybody is on the same page. So in my case, the things that I could offer is translation services of documents in Spanish, making sure that we disseminate information. So using the channels that we currently have to disseminate information. Other people, they offered like a room they have a spare room. If somebody, like the college student situation, if somebody knew of somebody who needed a room to stay because they couldn't get back to their country quick enough because of what's going on, they were be able to offer them a room or something like that. Just a very Lynn-centric community effort that I thought was a really good way to show that, we can work together and we're here for each other. But that was I'm part of that coalition, but it's Tia Cole who just started this whole initiative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And now, when the spread started in the school, canceling of schools, canceling of certain functions, and you just started to see the spread happening from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and to the weekend, it just became more and more was happening. What was your initial thoughts?
So what I thought is, we, as a nation, we should have reacted a little better. I think that, I don't want to politicize this issue because I know that people are going through a lot of stress, but I think that as a nation, we were not prepared. And even though this was something that we knew was coming, we didn't take necessary measures. Now we have to deal with the aftermath of what we have to work with. And we have to do whatever it takes to make sure we contain this virus. I think that initially people are a little more flax. Even now, people believe this is, a myth, that this is not really happening, that it's a fear induced by the media. But this is real. People are dying, and it's a pandemic, and it's not a pandemic because of the amount of people that are dying, but because of the geographical reach through all nations around the world. That's why it's a pandemic. So we need to make sure social isolation has been one of those methods that's been proven to reduce that curve of infection. Yeah. So we have to make sure that we stay home, that we continue to practice safe practices, not because, this is boring, but because we want to make sure that we keep ourselves safe, our loved ones safe, and also we don't know who has it, because that's the other issue that we have right now. Yeah. We don't have enough testing kits, in order to test everybody. We should all be getting tested. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? We can't, because we're not prepared to test everybody. Mm-hmm. And even if we were, there needs to be a second testing done to confirm the first initial positive reaction. Yep. And we're not prepared. So again, I think that right now the only thing we can do is social isolation. Wash your hands with soap and water. I know people are going crazy about the thing that you have with alcohol. Yeah. Soap and water kills it much faster than the alcohol. Yeah. So soap and water, washing hands very frequently, and try to make sure that you don't expose yourself or expose others. Yeah. And that's what we need to that's how we can help with the spread.
And especially in working in media, because you're out so much out in the community, you have to be more cautious of the surroundings, because this is a trying time for those that work in media, and also those that work in the healthcare field as well.
Yeah. And it's interesting that you mentioned that, because a lot of people basically detest us. Mm-hmm. This media, all this fake news and all this, but they only have information, and then they only have to form an opinion because we're out there doing the work, getting ourselves exposed. I mean, there is a commitment. Yes. To provide accurate information to the people that follow us. Mm-hmm. And we have to expose sometimes our well-being to make sure that we get the right information and we get it out. And we go, at least here, we're going minute by minute. Everything changes. Before, the governor said 50 people. The following day, he said 25, and now we're down to 10. Every second it changes, and we have to be conscientious that we have to provide, the right information from the right source. Make sure that we keep it clean, and so people can continue. But sometimes it's not going to be as clean as we would want it, because that's just the nature of the beast. You're in media too, and you know that. Things change and they evolve in the last minute. Yes. And we just have to keep track of things as they happen.
Well, definitely. And we only got a few minutes left. Also, let's talk a little brighter note. Laval, you guys got a new edition coming out next week. Can you tell me about that?
Yes, so we have La Voz coming out next on the 26th. So it always comes the second and the fourth Thursday of the month. And our edition, obviously, is going to be full with information that pertains to the city of Lynn. We're centralized to the city of Lynn, Salem, Peabody, and Revere. Those are our communities of interest. There's a lot of stuff going on with closings and just making sure that our Latino community is informed, but reinforcing that we do have a quicker, faster paced channel of information through Facebook. So just, have the information handy. We've been providing information on coronavirus. Now Latin American has been infected. So now they're affected with this. So we're going to have a section, an international section, where we talk about that as well. And just keeping the community informed, just making sure that everybody across the board knows exactly what they need to be doing, and what things they can access, what things they cannot access, which at the moment, I think is the most crucial thing. For parents with kids in the school system, they need to know when they can come back, what they're doing, how are they going to mitigate this kind of like stop in the middle of the school year. What is the plan from government and schools to when they come back to school? So all of this information we're trying to compile in our next edition.
All right, Carolina, thank you very much for taking the time to have this conversation. Once everything clears and we could all stop the social distancing, we'll get you in the studio for another one. But thank you very much. I appreciate this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. And Americans are one of those nationalities. This is a country of resilience, and we will continue to fight this, and we will beat it, because it shows that when the country really does poorly, we come together. And that's what we're showing now. And Lynn is one of those case studies where, the worse it gets, the more we pull together as a community. And Lynn is resilient, and we'll get over this. We just have to take the necessary steps. Thank you for having me, and stay safe.
Definitely.
And hopefully we'll see each other in studio soon.
All right. Awesome. Have a great day.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. You guys have been watching the Lin Lowdown. I'm your host, Mukala Kabongo. Have a great one. For any updates on closures and other information regarding COVID-19, visit bit.ly Lin COVID-19. Thank you for watching the LCTV News. Like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and visit us at lintv.org to watch any show anytime on your computer, tablet, or phone. I'm Mukala Kabongo. Have a great day.
This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Columbia Insurance Agency, serving the Lynn community for over 60 years with home, auto, and business insurance.